Welcome to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danny D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danny D, always here trying to help you create that space of joy, fulfillment, alignment, balance, so that you could be living the life that you want today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when the children graduate. Today. That's what we're here for, is to live those beautiful lives that God intended for us. So I want to introduce my guest today, Sonja Mustiful. All right, I'm gonna make sure I say it correctly. Y'all don't understand the pressure that I feel when I am, am saying that, like, because I always, my mind sees what it wants to see, and I always want to revert somewhere else. But I'm gonna give an intro, and then I want to just jump into the conversation because I met her in when we did the milestone circle
Yes.
together, and just in a short amount of time. I saw, just her soul, but her leadership ability. We were in a breakout group. I thought she was one of the mentors because she just took right on over and was like, "Okay, now so and so, and then so and so," and okay.
That's funny.
And when she shared at the end, and I was like, "She is not one of the the mentors. She's just a natural leader." And some of us just have that role in inflection. And I appreciate it. We connected, and here we are today. So, Sonja.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
pray for me. Is a keynote speaker, author, and a thought leader, empowering coaches and leaders to discover their strengths and rise to their potential. As the founder of the Essence of Coaching, she partners with people and organizations to foster a coaching culture to re-engage work teams, build meaningful relationships, strengthen leadership effectiveness to achieve a sustainable growth. In addition to her MCC credential, she holds a ACTC advanced certification in team coaching from the International Coaching Federation. With a background in corporate HR and executive coaching, she specializes in helping leaders lead with their values, foster accountability, and navigate agility shifts with confidence. Her ability to hold presence while facilitating conversation encourages clients to explore their inner self-awareness and challenge their limiting beliefs. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Danielle, for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. And like I said, it is those moments. Honestly, I want y'all to know that God tells me who I
Mm,
need to bring to you guys.
mm.
And it's those little glimpses, those little moments. And, before we get started, I just want to take this moment to remind each of you to always show up and show up authentically, because you
Yeah.
never know when, the person that you need to meet is in the
Mm.
room.
There you go.
So, the first question that I want to ask you, because we talked a lot in our initial conversation about trust, and I
Mm,
want you to dig into why trust is central to all relationships.
mm. Trust is in its own word seems very simplistic, but I've just found it to be very nuanced in terms of what does it really mean to you,
Mm-hmm.
and what I can say what it has meant to me. And this is evolution of relationships, personal and professional, but I'll say professional just for a moment. When you think about trust and how do you build and ways you build relationships, to me, I've just found it important to do what you say you're going to do. And then when you do that, you find that not only does people believe you, I can count on you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the importance of knowing what you want, being able to articulate that and share that is really to me fundamental in the relationship. Tell me what it is that you need, asking for what you need. And when you're thinking about trust and the relationship, can I count on you to do what you say you're going to do?
Mm-hmm. So you saying that just sparked something in my mind, and it's probably I've been spending the last couple of days reading. I'm doing an anthology project, and it's about redefining success, right?
Mm,
And I've been reading all the ladies' entries, and I mean, mind blown by what these ladies have written. But one of the common themes is burnout because it's
mm.
redefining success beyond the grind, right?
Yeah,
And when you said about trust and doing what you said you were going to do, that honest conversation with yourself about what you're capable of doing, right? Like,
yes.
I don't know that we always view that as a trust issue. Like, in this moment, I'm just thinking about that. Like, when we overcommit, we are
Yes.
breaking trust.
Breaking trust. You breaking your self-trust, right?
Yes.
So we
Yes.
start with ourselves and saying, what am I able to do? And so going back to my point about doing what you say you're going to do, when you're not able to do that, then it's still incumbent upon you as you build and strengthen trust to go back to that person. Hey, Danielle, I know I said I was going to get this to you Friday. Today's Wednesday. Let me tell you where I am.
Right.
And so what does that mean, right? So in the work relationships, it means, hey, is there something I can take off my plate in order to meet this commitment that you say you need by Friday? Or if it's in not even just professional relationship, it's saying, you know what? It's I don't value what you're asking me less. I just love myself more.
Right.
And part of that self-trust is saying, you know what, I'm not just going to set boundaries for myself. I'm going to hold them.
Yes.
Oftentimes I set those boundaries, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then when something comes up, the holding part is
Mm-hmm.
where I'm not as firm.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
even though the word says hold, I wiggle that because again, I
Mm-hmm.
said I was going to do it, and even I have all these things on my plate, and the burnout comes as I keep thinking I need to do all the things for all the people, forgetting about I need to start with myself.
Right. Right. And I think a big part of that is two things that I heard in what you said. One, just sticking on that word trust, trusting ourselves
Yeah.
to know when enough is enough.
So, no.
And the second thing that I heard in that was you said, that accountability piece, right? So when you have broken that trust or you can't do the thing that you promised, right? The conversation,
Mm.
communication. I just, and I know we probably gonna go so many different places with that word alone, but
Yes.
communication, I see it often, especially with my business owners, of being upset about how something goes on, but there's no clear
Mm.
communication guiding the process,
Hmm.
and that further breaks the trust. Like when
That's
a
right.
when a recap, like you said, could have just like
Check in.
maintained that things have changed.
That's right. Let's check in. Let's be clear about the expectations. Hey, you said you wanted it by Friday. And that's what sometimes that micromanager or I keep checking on you comes in because I wasn't clear about. I said I wanted it Friday. But what do you want in between? Oh, you
Right.
want updates
Right.
between Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Well, you didn't say that, right? And
Right.
to your point about communication, it is be clear about what is it that you want. And going back to your point too about when you say, your body tells you enough is enough because, I've piled all these things on my plate and I haven't taken care of the self-trust. Well, guess what? The body keeps score.
Mm-hmm.
You keep ignoring me and pretending like, your eye is not jumping, or you keep forgetting things, but some of those things are coming with, phases in our life. And there's also the things that are coming up in our body that we're not noticing or we're suppressing them, right? Because I got to get that next thing done. I still got
Right.
this deadline ahead of me, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. It becomes we don't, like you said, your body keeps score. We don't talk about this enough.
Mm-mm.
But I shared, I added an intro, and in the intro I shared my life shift experience. I mean, there've been several, but one of them was finding out that my blood pressure was so elevated that a lady at a health fair, the nurse, one, was nervous to talk to me about it, and two, immediately asked me, when is your next doctor's appointment? That should not be happening.
That's right.
But that is such a reality that we're ignoring our health. We're ignoring, basic needs, eating, sleeping, water. We're ignoring those things to keep pushing through, and we're not honoring ourselves in a way that can allow us to be, to maintain trust, right? Because if we can't if we can't maintain trust within ourselves,
Yeah.
then how do we extend that to others? We don't have the intention of breaking that trust. But when you're in the hospital
Mm,
on
mm,
Thursday, that
hmm.
report's not going to get done on Friday.
That's right. That's right. And hopefully we're not waiting or allowing things to get that bad,
Yes.
right? Where we're recognizing, oh, okay, so I need to go back, put myself on the list. And sometimes it's not always first. We try and prioritize that first. Let's be clear. And we'll just be honest about that is, okay, I'm going to put myself on the list. I'm going to prioritize myself and recognize that I'm just as important in all the things that need to get done. And if I don't care of myself, that everyone uses that oxygen mask, right? It's you
Mm-hmm.
put on your own oxygen mask so you can take care of others. It's pouring into yourself so you can pour into others. It's just this whole repeat cycle and getting used to or accustomed to saying, you know what? I'm worth it.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I think you're right. I think we have good intentions that go
Mhm.
left. I think a big part of it is, sometimes we're trying to make ends meet that aren't not intended to meet. And when we can't, we eliminate ourselves first.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I need that extra 30 minutes, well, I'll stay up a little later.
Yes.
I'll skip lunch today and work through lunch. We do those things that sacrifice ourselves before we set appropriate boundaries
Hmm.
that, you when you put yourself on the calendar, it's just as important as when you put anything else.
That is so true. That is so true in that relationship and knowing I need to take time for myself and make time for myself, not just take it, but make it, right? Because we put ourselves on the counter and it slides. Something else it'll go right in there, insert it. Because you're trying to, again, continue to strengthen those relationships. And sometimes, oh, if I just do this one thing, I'll
Mhm.
take care of myself later on today, or I'll wait till Friday. I'll move the
Right.
appointment till Friday. When it's like, and if you think about it, the thing that you move, let's just say even 6 months from now, I pretty much can guarantee you won't even remember,
Mm-mm.
right?
Right.
When I could have just stayed focused on myself, my own self-trust, my own well-being, what's important to me. You are important to me. You're a client. My relationships, those are all important to me. And how do I prioritize myself? How do I keep myself not even so much, if you can't commit to being number one on the list, at least keep your name on the list, but not at the bottom. For so
No,
long, we have been conditioned to everybody else. And then whatever's left over, then that's what we'll fit ourselves in.
no, absolutely. I think I'm gonna say at the top of the list. I ain't gonna even say on the list. You the
Okay,
main
come on
character.
now.
It's your
Come on now.
story.
It's your story. I
It's
agree
your
with you.
story.
I
You're the
agree with
main
you.
character, and the reality is you get to choose.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
get to choose what it looks like. You have those adventure books where you pick the ending, you know what I'm saying?
That's
You
right. Yeah.
you get to choose what it looks like and what your adventure looks like. And like you said, you're not going to remember the details,
Yes.
but you're going to remember the big picture.
Agreed.
And you know, you remember, the details of some of the great things though, right? Like, when you saw, you know, a beautiful scene on a vacation, you remember that forever, right?
That's right. That's
But
right.
you don't remember staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning
Mm,
working on
mm,
somebody's
mm.
project. Like, you don't, was that worth it?
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it? Did you honor yourself?
Yeah. Yes. I appreciate you saying that because that made me think about going back to me again. I set the boundaries all day, but the holding the boundaries. And I remember learning because I had to unlearn some behavior. I remember learning within the last couple of years, people saying often, no is a complete sentence.
Hmm.
I had to learn that,
I think we all have. I
right?
think we all have, especially as women, because we are taught to be servants. We're taught to be polite. We're taught to handle everything. We're supposed to make the magic happen, right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
it's all we are taught to say yes.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I'm in my terrible twos. The way I can sling a no at
I
you
love it. I love it.
so fast because I think one of the realizations that I've had is that the more you have clarity and get in alignment with who you are,
Yeah.
the easier it is to see your yeses and your nos
Yes.
clearly, right?
Agreed.
You know,
Yes.
there's rarely something that comes across my plate that I'm like, it's a maybe. It's usually a hard yes
That's right.
or a hard no.
Right. Right.
And I used to feel really guilty about that. And in this like phase and season, I'm like, you know what? God has a whole lot of things in store for me.
That's right.
And I can't be doing your work
Mm,
when I'm supposed to be doing mine.
that's right.
I can't, and I think one mindset shift around no, because I love this conversation because I know that there's so many people where we both were, right?
Right.
That
I'm
is
getting ready to say that. Let me give you a prime example.
like
Yes.
struggling with this,
Yes.
you know, is that, I had to think about it like this. So, as a mother, when you got those little ones, they start out, they got the little Velcro shoes on. You put their little shoes on, you get out the door. Now, if anybody had a toddler before, keeping a shoe on a toddler is a
Mm,
you like, why you got one shoe all the time? Like, where's the other shoe?
right.
But it still was easier. At one point I stopped putting the shoes on. I just put them on when we got where we was going because that was easy.
Yes.
As he got to be kindergarten age, nah, you got to know how to tie those shoes. And if I keep tying them for you, you will never learn.
Mm,
And so sometimes our no is the greatest blessing to the other person.
yeah.
Because if we don't learn how to set boundaries and say no, they will never learn the things that they need to be sufficient.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
that was a shift for me because then I was like, you know what? Well, I'm doing you a disservice by telling you yes. So that made the no a little bit easier.
Yeah. And we evolve. I mean, I've evolved in that. I remember early on in my business, it was always a yes. because it was a scarcity mindset for me. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure when the next client is going to come. I got to take this. And whatever that means, even if it means working on the weekends, even if it means working on Sunday, which I consider something, a rest day for me, I
Right.
was still working through it because I was working to build the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then realizing sooner rather than later was the business had allowing space for not just me running business, but the business not running me. Like, what does that
Right.
mean? What
Right.
is this? And what is it that I really want? Going back to your point, who do I want to be in this moment, and what is the most important? And part of it is making sure that I take care of myself. It's so funny that you mentioned about those Velcro shoes because I was thinking about this cold air that's been around us. I remember back in the day for these, I used to have mittens. We used to have
Mm-hmm.
clips on our coats to make sure you didn't lose them.
Yes.
And I said, okay, evolution is, I might still need some of those. I mean, I can't find the glove. And it's just
Look.
trying to think about what are the things that I need? What
Right.
systems do I
Right.
need to put in place to make sure I'm
Right.
taking care of myself, even if it's something as simple as a pair of gloves? Like, so
Yes.
I don't have to keep searching for something that's already there. I'm making it harder for myself. How do I
Yes.
put things in place where I can make it easier for me to move about, create the systems that are important to me? So true though with the Velcro shoes. That so resonated with me.
Look,
We have to be able to teach,
it's
right?
just those little aha moments that's like, you know what? Like full circle. Like I'm not helping you. I
Mhm.
want my child to be able to be self-sufficient. I can't, I'm not going to be here all the days.
No.
And he has to be able to take care of himself. So, and I have to foster that independence, not cripple him, right? And it just was that really, I was like, wow, that's just another layer to this of why I need to take that step back.
Hmm. Hmm.
But another thing that, and y'all, if you got to put your shoes on so it don't hurt when I step on your toes when I say this, go ahead, put them on now. Um, and circling back to the concept of trust. When you talked about that scarcity mindset and not saying no, not leaving that space, that's saying we don't trust God.
Mm. Mm.
At the end of the day, that's what it's
Yes,
saying.
exactly.
And I've been in a lot of situations where I'm like, well, well. And I say all the time, and I tell people I have a sense of humor. I hope God appreciates that about me because if not, on that judgment day, we gonna have some conversation. But I know, me, human me could never be God because I'd be like, now you didn't pray for this. You done been talking about this. I done told you yes. And you still around here
Yeah,
trying to do my job.
that's right.
I told you yes. I told you go this way. And you still talking about, well, what if, what if, what if? Where is the trust?
Yeah, speaking of sense of humor, that's what I grew up to know, from Granny was that, you come up with a plan, God laughs at really, that your plan is him comically saying, okay, you think I need your help.
That
And what's
part.
so interesting about God, at least what going back to how I grew up, he's only requiring us to have the faith and trust of a mustard seed.
That's it. Just a little bit.
And
Just
you've
a little
seen it
bit.
time and time again that I brought not only brought you through, I'm bringing you through, and I'm going to bring you through again. If you
Again.
would just be obedient to what I asked you to do,
And we still act out. We,
trust the
and
process.
that's how I know God is God because me, I just be like, now look, I done told you 8, 11 times. that I got you, but you just gonna be like that. Oh, all right then.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right.
And that's what we do. And that's what I mean, sometimes he steps away and say, okay, now
He
because
take
you're
a
going to
break.
come back, my plan is going to be carried out
Right. He said,
regardless.
I'm gonna just sit here in the corner till you ready to talk.
Right.
Until you're ready to
Right.
talk. And I've gone down some bunny trails. And then I'm like, Lord, you let me go all the way down this road, do all this. And he said, but I ain't never told you to do that.
Mm.
And I have to sit in that.
Sit in it.
I have to sit in it. You ain't never told me
Mm-mm.
to do that in the first place. I ran with my own thought and my own understanding, not accepting that as long as I'm being obedient,
Yeah,
you have the abundance.
that's right.
And that's another realization that we have to come to. I love that you brought up the scarcity mindset because we are operating so often
Mm.
in that mode that we never fully get to see our zone of genius because we too
That's right.
tired when it's time for us to shine. When that opportunity is right there, we sleeping. We
That's
missed
right.
it.
That's
Not
right.
because we're supposed to be up 24 hours looking for opportunities, but
Mm-mm.
because we wasted the energy that God had for us for that opportunity trying to be God.
Mm. And it's no way. And it goes back to your point about choice, right? Making a choice that I'm choosing him.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And knowing, it's ultimately like this is just my personal feeling, even though it is, showing, lack of trust, lack of faith. I don't think it's because we don't believe in God, it's because we don't believe in us.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
he made us and he said, you got this. And so it's getting back to that space of understanding
Yeah.
um who we are and whose we are. And I know every listener is not, a faith believer. I've said
Yeah.
it many times. It don't matter to me. It don't matter to me how you roll and how you come. I
Hmm.
share how I, experience, right?
That's
But
right.
I don't want you to miss the message.
Yeah.
I don't want you to miss the message because we may be talking about a different higher power, right?
That's right. That's right. And I think I agree with you on that. You get to decide that too. What
Yeah,
is your source of power?
right.
And my source boldly saying has told me, I know the plans I have for you.
Yes. Yeah. And we have to be able to walk in that
Hmm.
and encourage one another in it, right?
Agree.
Because
Agree.
we all are human. We all are fallible. We all have those moments where we like, Lord, you sure it was me when you was pulling names? I mean, I know a lot of people named Danielle. It could have been
So true. So
someone
true.
else.
Yeah.
But community becomes so important in that way. Surrounding yourself with people that are going to help you on that walk and that you can help along that walk, that
So,
feed into you, right? That
mhm.
you feel empowered when you leave them as opposed to drained.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I don't believe communities are by accident, right? You're attracted to what is it that you need. And that community is not jealous. That community is not seeking, it is building up.
It
It
is.
is, what is it that you need? What is it that you need to come? And you don't have to explain.
Mm-mm.
You
Mm-mm.
can sit there and that community already knows.
Mm-mm. No, I've talked about this several times. I have this one friend, she will text me like something encouraging, always at a moment that I'm feeling low.
Hmm.
And was funny about it, I was telling her about it one day, and she was just like, that just was on my mind in that moment. She didn't even know. But it just like clockwork.
Yeah.
If I'm having a bad day, she's about to text me something encouraging. And it's that deep that she don't even know. That that's what's happening. But it's just a certain magnetism when you build community, right? And um I think it does go back to that, like, showing up as your authentic self, because, we are taught to mask that, right?
Hmm.
But for me, the more me I become, the more everything that I require comes into my space.
Yeah. Yes.
And sometimes we're missing that because we're showing up as something else. So when it's kind of like if UPS comes to deliver your package and you got your address covered up, they can't bring it. They're like, well, I thought this was the house, but I'm not sure. But it's just different. And I know that takes a lot of boldness and courage, right? To
Hmm.
pull down those walls and to, take off those masks. And a lot of times those masks were put in place for safety, right?
That's where I was going. Yes, absolutely. Right? Because in situations, real life is happening around us.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like I used to tell my kids, I said, sometimes conversations need to happen in the car. It can't happen out here in the open.
Right.
We need
Right.
everybody get in the car and then we can have the conversation. And it's very reminiscent of the whole notion of community. Where can
Yes.
I go and
Yes.
share without having to? That's in the community, somebody I trust. It's people I
Yes.
trust. I'm trusting myself.
Yes.
I'm wavering on kind of what's going on around me. So I need some encouragement to
Yes.
move forward on this thing that I'm working on,
Yeah.
business or otherwise.
Yes. Yes. It is that safe space. Like when I bring up the term vulnerability, a lot of women, they kind of pull back. And I get it because, historically, we've not been able to be vulnerable,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And I'm not asking you to go in the middle of, Times Square and say all your deepest, darkest secrets in your personal business. But we have to start creating safe spaces that we can let down our hair, that we can be, open in that way.
Yeah.
And those of us that have the ability, I don't work about a job. I ain't gotta. I don't have to be a certain way per se, right? But even in that, there's still limitations. There's still certain things for my own sanity.
Yes.
you know, I don't, there's certain conversations, like some people just go put everything and anything on social media. There's certain conversations that I'm not having there, not because I'm afraid of the conversation. We had the conversations here all the time. you know, I'm not afraid of the conversation, but for my own peace, everybody's not invited to the conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, because I'm not going back and forth with you about my reality. But we have to create safe spaces.
Agreed.
That's what I think of, this community. That's what, there are other communities that I'm a part of that, other people run, that I find as a space where I'm comfortable sharing how I feel
That's right.
without having to think about it,
Hmm.
without being guarded. Like, there's a time and a place for that, but there also has to be a time and a place to just be.
To just be so true. On the way to becoming, it starts with the be and growing up. This whole notion of what I learned vulnerability was, back to your point on vulnerability. We didn't talk about stuff. And everything
Mm-hmm.
you talked about, you kept it in house.
Right.
And
Don't
then
talk
as
about
you get
like
older,
don't talk about it outside.
right? We had to learn, unlearn, and relearn some things. And what I found is that community is needed for me.
Yes.
And part of the way you build community is that you have trust. I can say something, not just do what you say you're going to do, but when I share something with you, you hold it.
Yes. Yes.
Not hold it against me. You hold it in the space that we created.
Yes.
And that's how you build and strengthen trust.
Yes. Yes. Yes, because it's not a weapon, you know?
Mm.
Like there've been relationships, I'm the person people tell their deepest, darkest secrets. So I've always been that person my whole entire life. Didn't ask for it, just is what it is, right? And there have been situations where a relationship has severed, right? But that does not, in my opinion, open up Pandora's box. And, what you told me in your moment of vulnerability is not for public consumption.
That's correct.
Because, that's not what this is. We just don't rock together anymore, and that's
The
cool.
season has left us. We're on to the
The
next.
season is gone.
But I agree with you, right? And that part of that is it's not the weapon. You share something with me, it should stay with me
Right.
until.
Until. And to me, for somebody to, like I said, I've always been that person. It took a friend of mine to say and change my perspective on it. Cause sometimes I won't be off, like sometimes I just want to go to the grocery store and come out the grocery store without having made a new friend, right? My friend said to me, you make people feel safe.
Mhm.
And I had to take on that honor and that responsibility, right? And it's come in at a couple of times, more than once, I've had someone, questioning life that I didn't even know very well
Mhm.
reach out to me because they remembered how I made them feel when I talked to them another time, right? We have to create that for each other.
Agreed.
We have to see each other as human because I feel like the world makes everything competitive and this and that. There's so much going on that we lose humanity. And when you see somebody fully as a human,
Mm.
it's not like, oh, girl, guess what? So and so is not waiting for, because you have the people that are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You just waiting for somebody to fail. You over there rooting for that? Like, is
Mhm.
that the thing?
Mhm.
Or are you looking for somebody to triumph?
Yeah.
Like, put yourself in that person's shoes. Do you want people around you that are like envious of what's going on with you? Or do you want people around you that want the absolute best for you?
Mhm.
And are you creating that? Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, I just really want. But what are you doing to make that a reality, right? Because sometimes I know I can speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody else, but but I got two eyes and I've seen some things. But I know I can speak for myself. When I first said that this type of relationship, this type of community, this type of XYZ is what I wanted, I was not the person that was prepared for it. I was still undoing, right?
Mhm.
And that journey, as you keep going down that journey, as you keep healing the broken parts, you become that thing.
Mhm.
You start to attract the things. And so I didn't, a lot of times people see me and my besties and they like, well, how do y'all this, that, and the third? I don't even remember how some of us met. Like, to be quite honest, I don't even remember. But it just was a natural, organic thing that happened. But I had to be in a space to be able to be that person's safe space, to be able to root for that person, to be able to check my own negativity or some of the things that I might have been taught through life. I
Mhm.
had to be that person first.
Mhm.
for those people to show up. I didn't do like, people say it like I'm gonna tell them go stand on the corner at, you know, such and such and such and such, and that's where the people at. No, I started doing better by me,
Yeah.
and that led to me meeting people that were on that same journey.
You know, there's relationships, the real thing, and just being able to have a place where you can trust, realizing to your point, there's so many nuances and different things going on in the world, and then still realizing that we may be in this world, but we're not of the world. And we get
Mm-mm.
to make choices about how we want to show up for each other. Yes, I'm rooting for you.
Right,
And if you're not, then you should be able, you will be just be able to discern that very quickly
right,
that
right.
this is not for me. And the seasons will come for what they're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to come for. And here's my assignment. And sometimes that comes back, right? And
Right.
sometimes trust is broken. Speaking of trust, I
Yes.
mean, we talking about trust, sometimes it's broken. And I wrote about this earlier, a couple weeks ago. Like when trust is broken, who owns the repair? Well, what is the word? The word says you're supposed to go to the person.
Right.
That's what it says. But not over and over and over.
No. But I
Or does it
think
say that? We're supposed to forgive. We're not talking about forgiveness, it's like the trust piece of it.
yes.
How do I rebuild trust with someone who's broken trust with me?
Yes.
Starting with what's important to me in my own self-trust, realizing as you mentioned about the world and all the things that are but I trust it, right? I'm trusting that you and I'm rooting for you, friend.
Right. But sometimes you got to root from a distance.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like when that trust is broken, sometimes I love you bringing it to going to the person, right? I don't even want to gloss over that. I had another point, but I don't want to gloss over that. I don't want to gloss over that because I see all too often how things spiral when they don't need to because a person doesn't have a conversation, right? Just one conversation could change the tone of a lot of things. And sometimes we make assumptions. We get in our feelings, we make assumptions. This person, maybe they broke your trust, maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe they didn't show up when they said they were going to show up, but maybe they breaking down. Maybe something else is going on that has absolutely nothing to do with you. I remember a friend of mine, we were having a conversation and she kind of responded to me in a very like short way.
mm,
And I paused for a second and I just kind of moved on. And she reached out the next day and she said, I hope you didn't take it the wrong way what I said yesterday. And I said to her, I said, I didn't take it anyway. And the reason why I didn't take it anyway, I said it was because that was not in character. That was out of character. That response was out of character. That was number one. And number two, I know I didn't do you anything.
mm.
So for you to respond in a kind of hostile way, my first assumption, given the benefit of the doubt, because I know you, is that something else was going on with you.
Yeah.
And I just gave you space. I was gonna circle back today, and
Right.
just check in and see what's going on, right? But we don't do that. We don't give grace. We don't have conversations,
That's where I was going with you.
and we
Yes.
don't apologize.
Oh, apology. That means I have to admit I did something wrong. And even if I didn't do anything wrong, is it about being right or having peace?
Right.
Because I want to move forward.
But sometimes you may not have intended to do something wrong,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you may have offended someone or you may have hurt someone. You didn't know what you were doing, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
So be open to that. And I like how you say, like, is it about being right? Like, you know, I told a friend of mine one time she was going through something with her husband, and I said, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be married?"
Mm,
Neither one is a wrong answer, but you gotta pick in this moment. You have to pick, like, which way are we going with this,
mhm.
and act accordingly.
Yeah. I want to build on something you said too about conversation. I think it's so important that you say that in a world of Snapchat, WhatsApp, piggyback, how do we just get back to
Yes,
conversating, right? Because when
yes,
I don't know
yes,
something, I make an assumption. Oftentimes, I fill in the blanks with something that's not truth.
yes,
And you talking about circling back or calling back or following? I'm not doing that because not only was it out of character, I know who did you think? Wait a minute,
right.
come back
And
to
but
the
you go so
conversation.
far too.
Yeah,
Like it is it. I'm like, how did that escalate?
because we're not talking,
What
we're
happened?
texting and
Right,
sending, and even in that email text, there's some words that are missing that are not being said. It's not even just what you said. To your point, it's what's not being said.
right,
And if I can see you, FaceTime, it's the body that
right,
I can pick up. And that may
right.
mean you need a minute. And that's
Or just
okay.
take a breath.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything
that's
does
true.
not have to be done instantaneously.
Agree.
I share that with my clients all the time as far as communicating with their clients, right?
Yeah,
Take a breath
yes.
because sometimes you're bringing energy into the situation that's not necessary. Sometimes you may be in a moment of overwhelming, and when you're in that moment, everything seems, chaotic, and you bringing that chaotic energy into a space. Like I've shared this example before. I had a client. I have a balloon business. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you
You
before, but
did. You
I have a
did.
balloon business as well, right? And a lot of my audience are from that community. And so I had a client that was reaching out about an event. I think it was like the mother's birthday or something like that. And so she asked me for a proposal. I sent it to her. I hadn't heard from her. Like followed up, and she said, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my brother to decide, how he wants to move forward." So right behind that, I get an email that says, "Can you send me a proposal?" Whatever, whatever. And so my first instinct seeing those emails back to back, I'm like, she's shopping me. Like she got me on the hook over here, because we're beyond like conversation. You done sent me the floor plan, that's where we are. And I'm
Hmm.
like, man, this lady is shopping me. And so, like, I'm like, wow, like in that moment, because I'm thinking we're in a different space. And I was in the middle of something. And so I'd like finish whatever I was doing. I just like let that sit on the side. So when I finally went back to go answer emails and stuff like that, it was two different clients. They had the same name though. They had the same first name. So had I jumped in with all my emotions and everything else, now I'm responding to you kind of like, hey, are we moving forward or not? You about to be confused because you like, what are you talking about? You a
Right.
whole different person.
Right. Sure, for sure.
Like, so we gotta slow down. We have to, like you said, do you want to be right or do you want peace? I think sometimes we are so, you know, unheard and unseen that we are like tied to being right.
Yes. Yeah.
And we lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like if your friend has never done this before, maybe check on them. See what's, you good. It's okay. Are you okay?
Right.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with after you check on them. If they meant with like, like what's that little meme with Nene, I said what I said. If they
I
meant
see.
what they meant, then it's okay to check them too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like and say,
Right.
wait, hold up. Why did I deserve that?
Hmm.
But we, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna show my age because I'm not gonna be like my child try to make me old. I was raised by my grandmother, so I have an old soul. But I'm gonna show a little age on this one. We always want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
We we are not thinking about long-term reparativeness.
Mm.
Good people are hard to come by.
Agreed. Agreed.
Whether that's a client, a friend, a colleague, we don't have to set every bridge on fire.
Agreed. And it's this notion of quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's got to be drive through. Or now it's mobile app, right? How quick can I get to the next thing versus back to your point? Slow down for a minute. Is this what you really want? Because you can move so fast and order the wrong thing, get the wrong thing, show up in the wrong space. And we talked about self-trust, but let's talk about self-awareness to your point.
Yes.
How am I
Oh.
showing up? What am I owning in this conversation? What happened with the trust?
Hmm.
I'm pointing a finger over there, but is it something I could have done? Is it something I could have said?
We
And
do
how do I
not
get to
look
a
like
place where I'm owning my view, I heard your view, and how do we move forward with our view? Even if that means that you're going left, I'm going right. But even in the piece, like, do I want to be right and have peace? Eventually you could have both. But
right,
right now in this moment, which would you rather have?
right, right. But we don't like looking in that mirror.
Yeah.
We don't like looking in that mirror. This is one thing that I do to hold myself accountable. In a situation, if the situation, whether it went right or wrong, honestly, but especially if it went wrong, I always do a self-assessment. What could I have done better or differently to make the situation that much better? There have been situations where the other person, in my opinion, was 1,000,000% in the wrong. But I can't, there's nothing I can do about that.
That's right.
That person in their journey is not my responsibility. Even in a situation where I was wronged, I could have done things differently. Not not putting a burden on myself, not saying that, I deserved whatever happened. It's just saying, how do I continually improve? What lesson did I learn
Mhm.
from this experience?
Mhm.
Because sometimes we don't want to, have that conversation, but you're gonna keep getting that lesson over and over. It's like, like school, you have to be proficient
Oh
in.
my gosh.
You are going to keep taking that proficiency test until you pass it.
Until you pass it.
So let me figure it out today because I sure don't want. There's some situation I don't never want, ever, ever, ever want to deal with again. So let me figure it out. Where did I misstep in this situation? Or maybe I didn't misstep, but I could have done things better.
Right. And the lesson still is going to be there because it was
Yes,
intentional to
yes,
get the lesson. The
yes,
lesson was intentional. It's not the obstacle. It's what am I supposed to be learning about the situation? But more importantly, what am I supposed to be learning about myself?
yes. How can I grow from this?
Yeah. How can I
How
grow?
can I grow from this?
Mm-hmm.
But we just like, it's funny, like I'll detox like just listening to I love the am I the a-hole like post on social media or whatever. I love listening to those. The lack of accountability. Like you wrote this whole letter and you got all the way to the end and hit post and you didn't see anywhere
Mm,
in here
mm, mm, mm.
where you could have done something differently. And but we are in a society now where accountability it's offensive to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's offensive.
Accountability. I'm owning my piece of this. I'm owning it. You're talking about building trust. What part in this did I play? To your point. That's how you build the trust. That's how you strengthen it. Let me own what I did. You know what? And you may not even say that's what you did, but it's important to acknowledge that something happened. And the point fingers, is that as effective as saying, you know what, something happened in order to figure out so we don't do it again. What do we
Mhm.
learn?
Right.
You can blame, and then there's the shame, and then where's the effort in that? Where's the outcome that's going to move us forward? Well, part of it is let's move forward, but the accountability is like, you know what? There's something I missed out. I missed it. I missed it.
Right. And it's a growth opportunity, you know,
Agreed.
like I
Yeah.
think we are so fixated on right and wrong as like, being two mutually exclusive things, right? That, we don't want to look at those things because then that might mean I'm wrong.
Mm.
And I mean, maybe you are, but maybe you're not. That does not mean that there weren't lesson signs. There's a reason why, like, even if you think about, like, let's even like use the example of somebody, like a mugger, they choose their victims.
Mm.
It's certain things that they look for, whether it's like they have the people that go to the cars, they looking for somebody who don't lock their cars.
Mm.
They're looking for somebody who maybe is distracted if they're walking down the street. They're looking for an opportunity, right? Does that mean that you're wrong for somebody attacking you? No, they're wrong. But there's an opportunity to say, wait a minute, maybe I need to be a little more vigilant
Mm.
when I'm going out, or maybe I need to be a better steward of my things. Not again, there's no blame there. It's just, I had this experience. I don't want to have this experience again.
That's right.
So now I'm going to change things. When we first moved into our house, we weren't here a good year and our house got broken into.
Mm.
We got an alarm on the house now. Not saying that it can't happen again, but
Right.
we
Lessons
made
learned.
changes.
Yeah.
You know, we got cameras up. We made changes based on the experience.
Yeah. Agree. Mm-hmm. Mm. Ooh. Mm.
Mhm. One of the things I wanted to get to before we get out of here, I'm trying to be good today. Um, but when we talked before, we talked a lot about intention versus impact. And I think that just a really, really good conversation for us to think about, again, our behavior and how we can learn these lessons.
Yes. That whole notion, you often say, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean it like that. Well, how did you mean it? Right? Because the intention to me shows up in what you wanted to happen versus what happened.
Hmm.
And what you wanted to happen, the intention, and it didn't turn out that way. That's the impact.
Right.
And so it's important, I think, not to brush that off and say, well, now you're feeling some kind of way. Well, no, let's pause here for a moment. Because what you sought out to do could very well be where we should be. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, we're at a place where, and again, it doesn't always have to be ill intentions. Let's
Mm-mm.
start with the ill intentions that, hey, it didn't what you thought. I sent this email or I left you off because I didn't think you wanted an additional email. That might have been what you thought. But when you left me off, then I'm questioning, okay, what's really going on? Again, if I'm not spending time to get to know
Right.
you and build that relationship, I go back to trust.
Right.
I'm questioning what that looks like.
Right.
And not just one time. Trust is built in the small increments over time.
Right.
And it's broken. Like I say, speed of trust is the one thing that changes everything. And while it's built over time, it can be broken in seconds. And so when you think about intention and impact, what is it that you meant to do versus what actually happened. And to your point, going back to when it doesn't happen, how do you take accountability? It's like, you know what, that's not what I meant.
Right. Right.
Versus assuming that, hey, it's over here and that's not what I meant. You taking it the wrong way. Well, then clear it up.
Right.
That's accountability. What
Right.
did you mean?
Right. Right. And I think it gets lost. Like I'm just thinking about your example. It gets lost in our emotion,
Mm,
right? So let's say I sent out an email and I left you all. And it wasn't my intention.
mm.
I just I thought you weren't on there. Now
Or didn't
you
think you needed the information. I think, hey, we've been talking about it and I just sent it to the person who I thought could resolve it. Well, wait a minute.
right. For whatever reason, right? I
For
left
whatever
you off.
reason.
And then you find out about the email because what's gonna happen is I didn't send it to Sally. And Sally is like, well, that's for Sonja. And she forwarded to you. And you like, well, now then y'all know good and well. That's what I do. And she didn't send it to me. Now I may have had good intentions. I may have somebody may have said to me, can you email Sally X, Y,
Right.
and Z? And I'm following directives, right?
That's right. That's right.
But at the moment, we got a misunderstanding. And what tends to happen in those moments is you gonna come to me and you coming in hot because you offended because everybody on earth knows you the person,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm instead of listening to what is happening versus what is being said, right? Sometimes we don't we don't take a step back. Instead of me taking a step back and just simply explaining, one, apologizing, like you said, I'm sorry. The only reason I didn't say, I thought in my gut that it should have gone to you. The
Hmm.
only reason I didn't send it to you was because so and so said to email her.
Hmm.
Now we got some clarity.
Hmm.
We got some acceptance of the impact, right? And then that gives you the opportunity to decide how you're going to receive that information. Because
Right.
you could say, well, yeah, that makes sense. I accept your apology, and I'm sorry for coming in hot,
That's right.
right? We all
Yes.
have that option. But what typically happens is you came in hot and I'm matching your hotness.
Matching that energy. So true.
And I'm not listening to anything else. All I heard is that you came in and told me I was wrong. And I know I ain't wrong. And so we gonna outwrong each other
Hmm.
as opposed to trying to have a greater understanding.
Right.
I heard I forget where I saw it, like the just this explanation of communication.
Mm.
People look at communication as I said a thing and you heard a thing. But if you didn't understand what I was saying, we have not communicated.
That's right. That's right.
And we don't go past the words to have true understanding. And sometimes we ain't even reading the words because, like I said, we matching energy.
Hmm. I appreciate the fact that you in your communication you continue to pull thread the conversation because sometimes the other option is silence. And I'm not assuming positive intent.
Mm.
I'm assuming you meant to leave me off. And
Oh no,
guess
not
what?
now you on my list.
And so I'm over here and I've added one more thing. And then now again, that space in between, well, next time she asks for something, it's going to be delayed. Or even if I respond, because we haven't had a conversation,
Right.
right? And then again, let me go back to accountability. What do I own in that? Why are you assuming that I was, that I left you off for a reason? have the conversation. If there's any way you can take that 7-second pause before you respond to an email, before you
Right.
respond to someone in a conversation, hear what they're saying. Hear
Right.
with the same intention you want to be heard.
Yes.
And then growing for me is growing in the space of listening with my heart and not my head.
Yes. Yeah,
Because
my
that requires work.
and also this is something that has helped me a lot too, is that sometimes we have come to the conclusion, right? We didn't come to the conclusion you did this on purpose. And our response is based off of that conclusion.
Yeah, that's right.
I had a coworker many years ago. It was a situation, and I knew, you know how you know what you know. I knew what the situation was, and I was hot, and I was ready to I'm ready to fire off. I didn't type this long email. Da, da, da. I'm hot, and my coworker said, "I know you're right, and you know you're right, but that's not what this email says. You've added a lot of layers that are not here. Respond to the words that are in front of you." And I've I took that lesson with me. I'm gonna wait for you to say it out loud before I now when you say it, I'm ready.
Right.
But
Yeah.
until you say that thing, I don't have permission to go there because when I interject it, I started the fight. You know what I'm saying? When I bring that in to the conversation, I've turned the conversation somewhere else. And again, like many times, in this instance, I was right. I'm not going to bend on that. But I did what he said. I responded to what was there,
Mhm.
and the other person kind of retreated on where they were going, right? Because of how I responded. And a lot of situations, though, I've been in situations where I was wrong, where I assumed this person felt this way, or, assumed that they left me off the email on purpose.
Mhm.
And I responded accordingly. Or there's been times when I've responded accordingly, and the person is like, "What?" Like, where did that come from? But there have been other times where I coached myself out of responding in that way. And as the conversation played out, it wasn't what I thought at all.
Mhm.
It just wasn't. And so we have to find that space to hold ourselves accountable. And like you said, stop jumping.
Yeah.
Stop jumping to conclusions. Stop interjecting. If you're not willing to have a conversation with somebody about it, then don't the little, passive aggressive comments, you can hold them. You can hold them. But so much is resolved by just
Have the conversation. And
having a
sometimes it's not then
conversation.
and there. Sometimes we need to step away and agree when we're going to come back to talk about it.
Right.
But at least let's talk about it.
Right. Because it'll build up, and now y'all,
Oh gosh.
this is my age and generation. Now y'all big in Tupac, and we don't even know how y'all got there.
So true. So true.
Like,
Mm, mm,
I've worked a job before where I'm like, people telling you backstory. Well, so such and such. I'm like, first of all, this story started before I was born. What are y'all talking about? Like, I've been the youngest in a lot of work environments before,
mhm.
like, different phase of my life. And I'm like, is this how grown people
Act.
operate?
Act. That's
I'm
what I'm
like, you sitting
asking.
up here, well, in 1980, what?
Mm,
And we are still in the aftermath of something that happened before I was born.
mm.
But that's how bad, like, when that trust is not there.
That's right.
And then organization wise, how do you operate as an organization when there's not trust from within.
Yeah.
Like you're not a team. You can't call yourself that.
Hmm.
And how do you serve a client from that land of distrust?
You got to get back to the foundation of who we're going to be, who we say we're going to be, not just values and mission statement, vision. All those things are important, but who are we going to be? Especially if we're going to fund a set a team. We can be working in silos, but we can work so much more efficient if we would come together as a team. And
Yeah.
part of that is I got to be able to trust you.
Yeah.
And back to your opening question, why, and how is trust central to our relationship? It's foundational. That's how things get done
Yeah.
by words and action. Things move because this is what we said we're going to do. This is who we say we're going to be. And when those things don't happen, let's have a conversation about how do we stay on track, get back on track, and even create a new one.
Right.
Yeah,
And be honest
please.
with yourself, with each other. And sometimes you're going to learn some stuff about yourself that you don't like, and that's okay. But don't double down. Like
Mm,
I think that that's what happens is when people, not necessarily directly, but sometimes directly, when people point out areas where you may need to improve, all of a sudden, instead of sitting in that, processing that, we double down and we create these lasting divides.
mhm,
And then we wonder why, again, things aren't moving properly. Like this is not just a, fluffy mindset conversation. It's a
mhm.
bottom line conversation.
That's right. That's right.
It's a bottom line conversation. It's why your team is not working efficiently. That's costing you money. If the two people that need to work together could get along, that would speed things up. That would increase productivity in the entrepreneur space, because I got my entrepreneurs as well. That's why you can't keep a staff,
Mm,
because you don't trust them.
mhm.
And I'm talking loud to my balloon community, because I've heard it time and time again. Oh, I need a team, but how I know they're not gonna leave with my try to steal my business? How they know? Da, da, da. First of all, everybody ain't set up to run a business. I'm gonna just be real with you. But secondly, if you don't build trust with them,
That's right.
then you will never be able to trust them,
That's right.
because they don't trust you.
That's right. It's part of the foundation. You don't build the
It's
foundation. You don't just start putting the room together. You don't start just putting up the mortarboard. You got to lay the foundation first.
right. Because if I come into a space, I know I'm trustworthy. But if I come into a space and you treat me like a criminal, then I'm like, well, what you doing up in here? Why
Mhm.
is this energy
Yeah.
in this space? So the people that are meant to stay with you are gonna feel uncomfortable and leave.
Yeah.
And what you're gonna end up with is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're gonna end up with the ones that's taking stuff out the back door. And then
Yeah.
it's just gonna keep feeding your distrust.
Yeah.
So, you may have a reason for that distrust, right? I'm not denying that. We all have had our trust betrayed, but we are responsible for how we heal.
That's right.
And if you are not, again, creating that foundation, like you said, you gonna keep that door gonna keep revolving.
Mhm. It's choice again, right? It's just saying, hey, recognizing that there may have been distrust, but here's how things go here. I know what you may have brought, I know what you may have experienced, but this is how we do things here. And not just in actions, in words, all the things are lining up. And it takes time. But just know when it's not, we have conversations because this is what we're building here. This
Yeah,
is my business. This is important to me. And I want you to flourish just like I am. And this is what I know works.
right,
Products may change, people may change, but trust remains the same. And
right,
that means we both have to decide this is how we're going to build it here. This is how it works here.
right.
So,
And I like how you just brought back around the conversation when it's not going right. Have the conversation. People just sit up there and be aggravated. They don't talk nothing about it.
or talk to
And
four other people that cannot resolve the
right, they don't
situation.
have nothing to.
Bring it back to
Oh,
let's who can
Jesus.
help us move this forward and get this resolved. This is business. And there's personal and there's relational and there's still people at the center. It's people in process. You talking about business, it's people in process. And
Yes,
in order for us to move expeditiously, trust has to be at the core.
right. Yes, yes. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the talking to everybody but the person that could solve the problem. I'm like, you done told me this story 14 times. Have you talked to that person one time? Like the longest standing relationship that I have at this point, because all my elders are gone, is me and my husband.
Mm,
We've been married 21 years. We've been together since high school.
mm,
If something go wrong, I'm gonna tell you who is the first person to know, the last person to know, and the one in the middle. Me and him gonna have a conversation. Like you said, it ain't gonna always be.
mm, mm,
It ain't gonna always be in
mm,
in that
mm.
moment. It probably shouldn't. I met me
Just take a
before.
minute.
I met me before. I can go from 0 to 60 rather fast. So I know that about myself, and I take my time. But we're gonna have a conversation because that's the only person I can resolve it with.
Yes.
And we early on, you could get mad, I could get mad. Go in the other room. We'll talk about it when you're ready. That's the conversation. Because
That's
we in
right.
this for the long haul.
That's
I think,
right.
everything is so disposable to people. We are
Mm,
in this for the long haul.
that's right.
Now, a part of that trust is that we're going to honor each other in a way that we're not going to do anything to make us not be in it, right?
That's right. That's right.
The stuff we argue about, people probably be like, what? Like, that is dumb. Look, this is our argument, okay? You're
That's
not
right.
even.
That's right. I'm right there with you on that. I mean, I so agree with that because husband and I, we 28 years, and so I'm like, listen to saying this. We still talking about this. This is this what's this one. I mean, but it is important to recognize. I think too, it goes back to trust in relationships. Is we can have these conversations. We can respond in this way. To your point, go in space and come back because I built trust over time. I know
Right,
when you need space,
right,
and I've gotten to know you.
right,
Right? That's how you build a relationship. That's how you build trust. You get
right,
to know the person, not just in the data and the numbers. Those are important. But what is it about that person in your business that extends beyond once they get off work? And a lot of
right,
times, we're not in for conversation about what do you do? How was your weekend? Let's pull that back in and say, what's important to you?
right. What's important
Having
to
that.
you and
Mhm.
how are we aligned
Yeah,
on mission?
yeah,
And that goes back to something that a lot of us, especially in the entrepreneurial space, want to skip over.
yeah.
We want to skip over the foundation of what's the mission, what's the vision, what's the company culture. So, back to those ones that got their revolving door staff. Do you have a mission? Do you have a vision? What is your company culture? Can you articulate it? And, if you know me, can you articulate it that I'm not going to pick it apart,
Mm,
right? Because, and the reason why I said it is because, again, foundational work. Me and my husband know we in this for the long haul. We know what we came in this to do, right? We came in this to love and support each other. We
that's
came in this to raise our son to be a productive member of society. That's what we came in this to do. That's the mission.
that's right.
The mission is aligned. Things
Mhm.
have changed over the years. I'm going in this direction, you going in that. A lot of things have changed over the years. but the mission has
Remains the
stayed
same.
constant, and we
Yes.
renew it. We sit and we have discussions, not just when we're in conflict, but when we are in unison, right?
Right.
We have discussions about how things have changed and what this season looks like. That has to happen in all areas of your life, especially in your professional life, because, like you said, we ain't gotta be friends. We gotta be friends. But at the end of the day, we came here to this culture and this environment for a unified goal.
That's right.
And when I've worked in, you know, I don't know, they may be listening, but I don't care. When I've worked in toxic environments, the thing that I thought was so off putting was, are we all here for the same goal? Because y'all sound like y'all here for petty. You know what I'm saying? Like well, so and so, this, that, and the third. Okay, but at the end of the day, we're here to serve this client. How are we getting there? And how can you put your personal differences aside to focus on mission? So, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna call it a wrap on that one. I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm gonna leave y'all to ponder on that because
Yeah.
it's true in too many environments. It's true in way too many environments. So I know we could keep going, and I'm sure we're gonna cross. Well, you're part of the community now, so you're not gonna have to.
That's right. That's
Look,
right.
I have separation anxiety, so I'm just gonna put that out there on the table.
Uh,
Once you're in,
we
you're
are
in.
community. We are community. That's
Once
just
you're
that.
in, you're
That
in. But I'm gonna do our wrap up questions, and then I'll give you an opportunity to share what's
okay.
going on in your world.
Okay.
So my first question is, tell me about your favorite pair of pajamas.
Ooh, that's some good timing too. I need to think of. Okay, let me say this: pajamas that I most enjoy. They're soft in
Mm-hmm.
texture, lounge-like,
Yes,
where I can relax, but presentable enough in case I need to get on a quick call.
I love it. I love it. This is the thing. No matter what answer you give, I'm gonna be like yes, because I got every kind. I have every kind, but I love a good loungewear. Like I love a good loungewear look. Um, but even if I have to get razzle dazzle, I promise you, anytime you see me, I got pajama pants on. Like hands down. It
I
it
love
it
it.
zoom. You can't see the bottom. I got pajama pants on. If I'm inside this house, there is some pajama item on this body.
I
So,
love it. I
but yes,
love
but I do love a good lounge. You just I don't know, it gives me Diane Carroll vibes. Like I love it. Okay, so finish this sentence for me. My time freedom allows me to.
it. Curl up with a good book. I love a good book.
Mm,
I
I
love
love
to
it.
read.
I love it. I'm getting back to physical reading. That is like one of my like goals is getting back to finding time to just sit. Like I do a
Yeah,
lot of audible books when I'm inflating balloons and stuff like that, but I really want to get back into the habit of physical reading. And I keep buying books like I don't have 4 million
that's me.
books already.
That's me. That's me.
I got
And
rid of them.
I've always been the, because I'm up there right here. Highlight.
Mhm.
It's gotta be, it's the physical book. That's something about, that's
I
relaxing to
love a
me.
physical book. I really, really do. Like I just read a book in one of my friends' book club, and I bought the physical book, but because of time, I didn't get a chance to like read it. I'm listening to the book while I'm working, and I got the physical book next to me because I'm flagging stuff.
Okay.
Like,
I love it. I love
I
that.
just, yeah, but I just love the physical book and just to sit in peace. So I love that. All right. So, last question. What's the best advice you can give anyone seeking the profits in pajamas lifestyle?
Mm. I think it just echoes what you said earlier about who you are and why you started the podcast. To me, it's really focusing on systems and relationships,
Mm,
the people and processes. What is it that you're wanting to build, and who are the people you need to surround yourself with to help you get there
I love
with the
that.
foundation of trust?
I love that. I love that. Because, I mean, that is it at the end of the day. Like, we need to learn how to ask for help, and we need to learn that we don't have to do everything the hard way.
Don't.
Systems takes that out of it. I love that. So tell us what's going on in your world. What do you want us to be a part of? I hope all of y'all connect because
I hope so.
look, because I just keep bringing y'all these amazing people. Y'all got to connect with them. So
You
y'all, I mean,
definitely.
because you say you want the community, I'm bringing the community to you.
You are definitely bringing the community, continue to bring the community. And I'm so thankful for the opportunities to share with you. A couple of things I'll share. You can find me on LinkedIn, Sonja Mustiful. I'm the only one out there with that name, Sonja Mustiful, that name. That's my given name, and I love it. And Instagram, weekly. And then this whole notion of leader lens is what I've been focusing on, especially in
Okay.
LinkedIn. You'll definitely see a weekly post on really experiencing leadership from a foundation of trust. And one of the things that's coming up for me, March 27th, in person in Atlanta, is a coaching collab. It's called Coaching Collaborative from 9 to 4. Coaches, HR, leaders, department, project managers, all those who are looking to figure out, okay, so what is it about how I need to show up in this next season, this quarter 1 going into quarter 2, thinking about what it takes to lead with trust, and even more importantly, what gets in the way of us having the conversations that we need to have with not only just ourselves, but with our teams. March 27th, 9 to 4. That's on my website. It's not on LinkedIn, it'll be on there, but just follow me and I'll get that information to you.
Awesome, awesome. And I'll make sure to get everything and put it in the show notes so that y'all can be connected. If you are in Atlanta or if you can get on that plane to Atlanta, I
There
want
you
you to be
go.
there
Come
for
on,
the
come on.
conference. um if I could be there, I would be there. I'm actually doing a summit on that same day, so yes, so I'm
It's the
doing a
day. That's our
summit
day.
for the anthology. So I've spoken about that before. We're doing an anthology with some of the past guests from the podcast. It's the redefining success beyond the grind.
Ooh,
So the anthology is launching that week. We're going to have a book signing at the event. We're going to we're going to have a live panel discussion podcast episode.
love it.
So if you ever been sitting here listening, I know that's how I listen to podcasts. Like my favorite podcast, I'm like, I be want to say something. Like, they talking and I'm like, but I got a point I want to make. Um, you can be in the audience and you can raise your hand and ask a question or comment. So that's gonna be an option. We're gonna have workshops throughout the day where you know some of the people doing the workshops are going to be past guests that are in the anthology, but it's also open to other past guests as well. So
Oh, nice.
it's going to be like the one thing I love about all of you that have been on a podcast, y'all all have this commonality that I didn't plan, but it just happens that way. Y'all all care about results. Y'all care about seeing your clients have results and are actionable
Mhm.
so that's a big thing for me, like, because we could talk all day, but what's the next step? So I want y'all, look, if y'all not in Sonya's room, y'all need to be in mine.
That's
Y'all need to
right.
be in somebody's room getting
That's right.
educated.
That's right. To your point, the community is there. Make a
Right,
choice. Make the
right.
choice.
Yes, you need to be in the spaces,
Agreed.
right, that are moving you in the
Agreed.
right direction, that have like-minded women in them so that you can continue on that path. Because sometimes it is hard to
Yeah.
just, when you live in a world that's doing all kind of other stuff, to stay focused on what you're doing and how you're doing it. So, what else? Let me see. I'm gonna make sure I said all the things in my world before we sign off. Um, I,
I love
I, in addition to the anthology coming out in March, I have these two books that have come out. The Capable Confident You came out in December. I Don't Do It All and Neither Should You
mm.
came out in January. My last guest when we were talking, she made me sit in the moment of, she was like, girl, since I last talked to you, you've done everything. And I'm like, you know what?
No,
You
no,
know
I'm
what?
not. It's TBD. Da, da, da. I'm not done
Right.
anything. There's
I'm
more to
not
do.
finished.
That's just where I am right now. Yeah, catch
I'm
up. Come on.
I'm definitely not finished.
I love it. I
But
love
I
it.
think sometimes we do get tunnel vision and
That's
I was
right.
like, oh, wait,
Celebrate.
you
Let's
know,
celebrate.
you're right. And I'm a believer of celebration. And I still was like, hold up, girl, you are absolutely right. Like I'm so in the zone of like getting it done that I had to take a step back. So I'm taking my step back a little bit. Still whittling at that task list, but
Yes.
also just savoring the moment of, because for me it's not the accomplishments. I mean, we can gather a list of accomplishments, right? It is the impact.
That's
It is
right.
the impact and seeing what it, what it means for the people that God has,
That's
given
right.
to me um to lead, that
That's
like,
right.
that is a an honor and a terror. Um,
But that is it. That's what they told us. Growing up, it's just not the understanding the dash, why you were born and what you were meant to be doing. What is that dash? That is the purpose.
right,
That is what
right,
we're here to be
right.
doing.
Right. And I am honored. That actually was my prayer this morning to God, was that I am honored that you have put me on this path and this journey, even though sometimes I am intimidated by the bigness, right?
Mm,
But I'm honored by the opportunity.
yeah.
And so I'm excited. I'm very excited. I can't wait for y'all to like get this anthology. Man, like
Yeah.
I am like I'm literally, I know when this airs it'll be later, but today I'm reading all of the ladies' stories as a collective
Mm,
and I'm just like blown away. And I know these ladies. I'm not shocked, you know, but I don't know, I'm just so full.
that's what it is.
I'm just so absolutely full, and the just their stories jumping off the page.
Yeah.
And I named it, like in my like entry I said that this is your permission slip.
Mm,
And so I want every woman to pick up a copy and read through it and understand it is your permission slip
that's right.
to redefine success in a way that makes sense for you.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, I don't want ugly cry right now.
Okay,
So
okay,
I'm
okay,
going
okay. It's
so
okay.
so I'm gonna wrap it up because that's where I'm at right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But I wanna thank you for being here. I wanna thank you for this beautiful conversation. Guys, I want you to go ahead and, follow and click all the buttons. Click all the
I
buttons.
love it. I love that.
Sign up, because I bring people to you for, a couple of reasons. One, because God told me to. Two, because I know how much of a blessing these women are in my life, having, the opportunity to meet people that don't fit the, Instagram, stereotype of what it is to be a coach or a business owner, but that really have the heart and the care behind what they do. And that have the resources, because we
Mm.
always talk about we need the resources. I need to know somebody who, look, I didn't introduce y'all to somebody who does just about everything you could think of.
Right. Right. Just tap into your community. And I
Tap
appreciate you,
into it.
Daniel. I do. I appreciate this time, even to be honored to be even asked. And I agree with you. I'm stepping away today with a heart full of gratitude. I thank you for the community that you built, and I'm just wishing blessings upon you, not just today, but until.
Okay, thank you. I said I wasn't gonna ugly cry, and then you just want to add it on, and it's okay. I receive it. I absolutely receive it, but I'm gonna sign off before before the tears start to flow. So thanks again. Thanks for the listeners for listening and coming on this journey with us. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.